Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Stephen Morsi.
Hi, Steven. Tell me about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a sophomore at the University of Maryland studying finance and information systems. From the courses I've taken and different clubs I'm a part of, pretty much what I want to do right now is something involved in investment banking.
Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more.
So the one club I'm in is Cash. It's a community of aspiring stockholders, and on a weekly basis we go over different stocks that we follow throughout the semester. Currently, I'm actually assigned to follow a stock for them as we have four sent out, and I'm following Apple right now, which has been struggling recently. But being in this class has definitely allowed me to experience more things and expose me just more like knowledge about the finance world and such.
I know this seems like a little early, but what do you want to be known for?
In the end, I envision myself hopefully being known for someone who has great business savvy and is successful, but on top of that, just someone who brings up all their coworkers and really inspires people. Since one person can't make a company, if you really want to be successful, you need a lot like a group effort.
Okay. Um, Now I want you to tell me about a creative approach you took to solve a problem. How did you come up with the approach? Did you consider other options during the process?
Actually, just recently, I got a job working as a barback at a bar in College Park, pretty close to where I live. But we kept having the same issue where during the peak business hours, we ended up falling behind simply because of a lack of communication. And since cell phone service is not the best in the bar, we would try to text each other, and this would never work because the messages would be delayed. So what I thought of was that we have one main room where all of our supplies are, and in this room, we put up a piece of paper with our seven main responsibilities on it. So every time you fulfill one of the responsibilities and resupply or just pretty much do what you're supposed to do, you write down the time of doing so. This way it prevents people from doing the same task or thinking someone else did it and end up having no one do it. And since then, we've actually been doing a lot better, haven't fallen behind at all, and bartenders have definitely been pretty happy with our performance.
Okay. Tell me about a time when you had the lead role in managing a student project.
So, in my geography class last semester, I took the role as a group leader. One person had to step up and do it, so I figured I would. And in this, it wasn't too much different from just being a regular person, but I had to take the initiative to delegate tasks and set dates where we had needed things to be done by. Since we all have many different schedules, we couldn't meet up that much. So, in the times we did meet up, we had to make sure we made the most of it. And pretty much I tried to encourage everyone to hold each other accountable because group accountability is really what I think helped get this project done on time. And in the end, everything worked out pretty well.
Okay. Now tell me about a difficult decision you've made in the last year.
Over the summer, I had the option to live in my fraternity's chapter house, which would have definitely been pretty difficult for schoolwork, but socially it's where I wanted to be. It's where a lot of my friends were. Or my other option was to live in an apartment with friends I had from freshman year who were definitely much more focused on schoolwork than a lot of the kids living in the chapter house. And this was pretty much just a responsibility thing. And within like a week or so, I knew the right answer was to live in the apartment. So that's what I ended up doing. And since then, I'm definitely pretty happy with this decision because a lot of my friends living in the house are struggling in school. Whereas me being around other motivated students, I've actually been doing pretty well this semester.
Okay. And how have you worked to achieve your own professional vision on a change of topic?
So to achieve this, I wanted to join clubs. So that's why I joined Cash, and this has allowed me to just learn more about the business world. As I always knew I wanted to do something in finance, but I didn't actually know a lot about finance. So through here, I've been doing a lot more readings on stocks, following the market, and it's pretty much just motivated me to actually get after it and has like caused me to do so. And then also, I'm part of the business scholars, and being part of here has made me a lot more diverse. We have a ton of opportunities offered to us that help us grow and develop, and definitely helps us with competitive advantages.
Okay. Now I want you to describe two situations for me. One in which you received very positive feedback on your performance, and one where you received pretty negative feedback about your performance. And like, what happened in each situation? What did you do? And what was the outcome?
Both positive and negative feedback, I actually can say from the same situation. So I was in a group project for my business management course, first semester of freshman year, just coming into college. And I was definitely like looking back, I know I was slacking off. But in the first couple weeks, I was not filling my duties, and people from the group told me this very adamantly. And at first, I was pretty annoyed, but like I said, when I took a step back and looked at it, I understood what they were saying was true. So instead of letting this get me down, having resentment towards them, I kind of used it as motivation to prove them wrong, that I was actually a good student and hard worker. And in the end, it definitely helped me get a better grade in the project because I wanted to go above and beyond their expectations and show them that I actually could do this. And then at the end, when we had to do performance evaluations for the group, I got all positive feedback. Very pleased with that. And it just helped me grow as a student early in my college career.
Okay. Now, can you describe a time in your life when you managed stress really well despite difficult conditions?
As I said before, I have a job while being at school. And the first week of this job was actually one of my major exam weeks. I had 2 exams and a paper as I was starting these odd hours, working till 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. So at first I became very stressed, but then I knew that this was not going to solve anything. So I took a step back and just kind of put everything down on paper, managed my time. And in the end, it worked out. I did pretty well on both the exams and decent on the paper. So it also taught me a lot about myself and just how I work best. And I realized that when I do get in these situations, if I can just write down a task list and work through it day by day, just chip away at it little by little, I can still actually do it.
Okay. Now, can you describe a situation when you had to give feedback to someone for being a demotivating person to the team?
I actually just am taking a class this semester for my business management, and there's a member in our group who's very smart, just a very talented student, but not a good motivator. And instead of trying to encourage us to all work well, he would constantly just yell at people and bicker with them, causing a lot of resentment, lack of communication. It was really just bringing us down. And we knew that we had to do something about this, so had a decent relationship with the person, probably better than the other people in the group. So I knew this was kind of my thing to do here. I had to step up and talk to him. And what we did is just, instead of bringing it up, telling him to stop, that he's constantly wrong, he needs to change, we kind of mapped it out, and I told him that his heart's in the right place. He wants us to do well in the project, just as we all do. He just needs to go about it a little different way. And being nice and upfront about this definitely helped our group. He understood when we pointed out the examples. He wasn't that argumentative about it. And even though I was really nervous to do it at first, it was essential in order to do well.
Okay. Tell me about a time when you had to begin a difficult conversation with another person.
Just relating to this kind of fits right in perfectly, actually. This was a difficult person to talk to, as we said before. He kind of held us all to a different standard and not a reachable one. He was just being very unreasonable, but after bringing this up, it was definitely a positive outcome.
Okay, and lastly, can you tell me about one of the toughest groups that you've had to work with? What made it difficult, and what did you do?
For my geography class, which I said I took last semester, we had a group and we all had very different schedules. And 2 of the people in the group had a job. I was also pledging my fraternity at the time, and our time management just did not equal up. Half of us would do work late at night, the other half would like to do in the afternoon. We had a very tough time meeting up. So what we all had to do was sacrifice a lot of our free time on the weekends. And although none of us enjoyed doing this, it was necessary to get the project done, and it was something that did work out in the end.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.